you will speak to those ones that have homes, and they will tell you there's nothing as a relief than just having your own house. The fact that you will always go back home to a place where you enjoy, that is peaceful, that you have made in your own special way, the way you want it. It is breathtaking. It is where the future is, and that's the reason why you also see different governments and across Africa and the global fraternity always focusing on making sure that home, shelter over your head is one thing that is a must for their citizens. We have seen countries like Zimbabwe presidents getting into, right after actually Robert Mugabe then came in, Mnangagwa, who was speaking about command housing, a project towards making sure that every Zimbabwean gets to own their home. President Uhuru Kenyatta with his, that is on the question of affordable housing, yet to be realized in totality, but lots of gains and also lots of efforts put towards making sure that this happens. But just how possible and how easy is this? We get into a conversation on affordable housing. Jimmy Kagoni is joining us for this very conversation, as well as Sami Wambua, who's Kingdom Precast Solutions Limited, member, and as well, probably he'll tell us whether he's the boss there and why they focus much on the question of precast, which is also coming as an affordable option to affordable housing. And so, Jimmy, it's an honor to have you after a very long time. Today, we do not talk politics. Today, we speak of housing, and I'd love to understand, Jimmy, and housing. How and then we get to now the conversation. Is it about Jubilee and the fact that we're trying to push and help President Uhuru Kenyatta achieve and attain this?
Thanks a lot, Linda, for having me. It has been quite some time.
Yeah.
Affordable housing is actually one of the SDGs, and not just in Kenya, but even the UN and quite a number of countries and organizations, they are very keen to ensure that we achieve affordable housing. Mm-hmm. I'll shock you with some few numbers that, for instance, in Kenya, as it is today, 4.6 million Kenyans are tenants. These are people who do not have somewhere to stay. Yeah. People like possibly me and you, who must look now for somebody who have constructed a house somewhere, and I've said that we can proceed there and become tenants. And in Nairobi alone, approximately 1.2 million Kenyans are tenants in Nairobi alone. So 4.6, we are talking about Kenya entirely, all the cities and towns. 1.2, we are just talking about Nairobi alone. In Kiambu, for instance, which is just a neighboring county, and most of the people, we find them, they live here. We are talking of approximately 480 tenants. And the demand for housing every year, the last time I checked, that was the statistics of 2019. The demands of houses were 250 houses every year, annually. By 2019, we had a deficit of 2 million houses. So it's now becoming quite an agenda that no government can ignore. Because when you have citizens who do not have somewhere to live, and like you correctly mentioned, everybody is looking to see whether they can be able to go to a home, to a place they can call theirs, and they own it. But now to own that commodity has become extremely very expensive. So there are a few solutions here and there, and the organizations like UN, they have been suggesting to countries like Kenya on what they can be able to do.
Right.
Because most of the time why people are not able to own that is because of the cost of owning a home and how to do it. And there are a few concepts that have also come, concepts like rent to own.
Yeah.
Just in case you are not able to raise the entire capital to put up your own home, is it possible that we can have concept in a way that we can convert where you live and make it your own home, such that now whatever you pay on monthly basis is actually something that you are paying in to own that facility. Yeah. I was just checking before I came here that most of the very let me use the word average towns in this Nairobi, places like Ruaka, places like Westlands, not even Westlands, Ruaka, Buruburu, Thika Road, many places like those ones. The average house for a 2-bedroom goes between 30 to 40K. If you go slightly higher than that, if you are talking of a 3-bedroom, we are talking of 50 and 60. Okay. If you go to high-end towns like now Westlands, Currents and all that, we are talking to close to 100 plus. If you come to a place like here, Parklands, a 3-bedroom, it will range around the same price. So you can imagine why be paying that kind of money So for instance, somebody like you check, if, for the last 1 or 2 years or 3 years, the money that you spend on
Rent.
rent is money that you can actually use to own a home.
Yeah.
And in 5, 6 years, then you have been able to own your own home, yet there is no extra cost. It's just the same money that you're using, maybe a small top up, and eventually you have a home.
This one becomes yours. That would be very interesting, and I mean, I perhaps hope that that's where the future is headed. But when we're talking about the future, precast then comes in. And just to get people on the loop on what exactly precast is, I think I'll allow Sami to do that. And for a moment, I don't know whether it brings then a shake to this size of real estate, to those ones that have hugely invested on, you know, setting up structures so that they can as well sell the structures at an interest. So when we're talking about precast and in connection to affordable housing, where and where?
Thank you for having me. I think what we're trying to solve is a big problem which has nobody, or rather it's an untapped market, and also a need that if people have got a need and now you come with a solution, like now agreeing with what Jimmy has just said, you see, the problem we have now, for the 250,000 units that are needed every year, the only units that enter into the market per year, you find it's like they are like 50,000 units. Now you see there's a gap which is remaining each and every time of around 200,000 units unbuilt for each year. So every time this gap is accruing, so and we don't have a cure. So this is where Kingdom Precast Solutions come in. Now we offer a solution of precast panels, which are a ready product now and cheaper and affordable. You just need to assemble your house in a month. For example, just like a 3-bedroom unit. Something you can do within a month and you are fully sorted.
Okay.
So we're trying to sort the issue of time. For example, many of the people that are building also using loans. You also need to get your income more faster than the way you could with the traditional methods.
Yeah.
So we're trying to help you realize what you want in a more affordable way and also faster way.
Right.
That's our biggest need that we need to solve.
There's a lot of advancements in this very sector of affordable housing, or generally housing, Jimmy, and therefore the incorporation of these new modes of you know, just making sure that people are able to own houses is interesting to watch. So when we're talking about the introduction of precast, what would you make of that, especially in a place like Kenya where we still are struggling with the, you know, just making sure the kawaida real estate then plays out, just making sure that people can even afford the loans to be able to, you know, put these loans and monies towards making sure that they own homes.
I like what they are doing because they are assisting to make construction cheaper and affordable for many people. Because, for instance, I was also checking the mortgage rates in the region, and Kenya has the highest mortgage rates. Many people are not able to go for mortgage financing. So you'd find eventually, let me just break it and use this language. You'd find, for instance, you have your 2 million, you'd want to set up your own house. But then that cost, you realize what you wanted to come up with, you are not able to. So people like him are able to come now with a product like precast and tell you that this commodity that we are giving you, which is quite essential in construction, walling is quite is one of the key areas, is actually a main phase. They're telling you that we will reduce this with this particular percentage. If you would have used this one, then we are able to reduce approximately maybe 30 to 40%, which is quite a lot of money because we are talking of 30 to 40% maybe of 1 million or 2 million that you have used there. If we had many other aspects, for instance, somebody else who could say, what do we do around the foundation? Also, the foundation takes a lot of money. What do we do around roofing? Somebody else says, I have a concept in a way that we can be able to reduce the cost of roofing. So eventually, you realize that you are able to save approximately 40% of the total cost that you'd have used to set up your
House.
Now, what they have done is to pioneer the industry and tell the others that, look, you do not have to do the conventional and traditional way of just worrying. We can come and assist you with this particular commodity, and this one you're going to reduce your cost in doing ABCD, and possibly what you're going to save here, you can do a little bit of something else as part of your construction. That's what we are trying to do, because you see the approach the government had attempted to make could not really have solved that idea. First of all, the government wanted to, and much as we would really want to appreciate those initiatives, but again, the reality and the practicability of the matter, you realize that it was not possible, because the house, for instance, the houses the government was putting up around Gara for affordable housing, they were aiming the civil servants. The civil servants in this country are close to 700,000. In this country. The houses there are not even 1,000. First of all, even the priority to know exactly who you are going to give those houses and who will benefit is a challenge. Number two, most of the civil servants who would actually afford those kind of houses are the ones who have really upgraded on their job group. And for you to have upgraded on your job group, you realize that your retiring age is also nearing. So possibly you also don't qualify in terms of period. So eventually, we end up to you constructing your own house. Now, you come in to construct your own house, when you do your BQ, he will tell you, you realize that 60% of the money or 40% of the money will go to warring, the phase we call warring. Now, that particular phase is what they are trying to suggest to see, how do we reduce the cost on that, rather than just doing the traditional way. I've also seen some other guys who are doing the ceilings using the concept of waffles, rather than just doing the ordinary koroga and everything and all that. You buy waffles that are pre-made and you just come and fix them. You realize that is also reducing the cost, I think.
Reducing the cost is one thing, but also getting quality is another. And especially when there's incorporation of this that is new technology, there's always that skepticism that comes with that. You know, people are skeptical. That is fine. If we decide that this is the roofing style that we are taking, are we guaranteed that this is really going to be indeed a roof over our head, that we won't have to deal with the scorching sun, we won't have to deal with the rains, we won't have to worry about setting up another one 2-3 years later? When we speak about the question of durability, and perhaps it could be the best person to answer that, and we take the angle of precast, setups. I mean, what would be the guarantee on this one for those ones that would want to make, a lifetime? Because most of the people will tell you that housing is a lifetime investment. Most of the people will set up houses that they can retire to, and therefore you cannot afford to go wrong.
That's so true. And many times when you're trying to venture in anything, you try to answer all those questions. You also need to analyze your market and the need. So replying back to that, precast concrete panels do permanent structures, very permanent structures. Actually, I was amazed the other day. I took our precast products to the lab. They are more stronger than the conventional method. More stronger than the conventional method. So you are assured of a lifetime project which you can live for generations. So it is not as big time. It's a permanent, in fact, very permanent structure you do.
All right. A question of land. I mean, anytime we're talking about affordable housing and housing in general, land is a question in this case. And I mean, for instance, in the country, the question of land sourcing and the nitty-gritty details before it gets to a level where now this is a structure that is well set up in the country is quite, dicey, or so to speak. How do we make sure that we get this right so that moving forward, Kagoni, you have your own structure somewhere that you have set, and you are confident that for the rest of time no one is coming to knock to you or knock at your door to question this and that. And especially even on the questions of precast, I would want to assume that yes, the structures will be assembled somewhere, where there is land, where someone has bought land. We still are having huge discrepancies today. How do we get off that?
Let me approach that from the reverse. Incidentally, Kenyans are easy in owning a piece of land than they are in constructing a house. Possibly because the availability of land that is affordable to them is there. If I asked you how many companies you know that are land selling, maybe many. Possibly even before you finish up your show here, you ran 2 or 3 adverts of companies that are selling land. And quite a number of places have also opened up on that area. So you realize entirely in Nairobi, there are quite a number of towns now you can access in terms of affordable housing, in terms of land. So Kenyans are easy on that, and it's because the industry has also become extremely robust in a way that you'll find even the payment mode and ownership and what have you, that now has been opened up. It's not just the conventional way of you must set up this particular capital, this is the value, everything, and all that. You'll find now many companies that are opening up and saying that you can even pay this within 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, and those kind of things. And basically, if we are going to help, I want to link up that with what now you're asking. Basically, if we are going to help Kenyans to really go into affordable housing, is now to start from the known going to the unknown. The known is you already have a piece of land where we can construct.
Okay.
And there are quite a number of people. I'm sure you have seen the numbers that have been dropped by the Ministry of Land and the president saying how many titles that he has issued during his tenure. That tells you these are new.
Land is there.
Land is there. Land is there. And those are the ones that have actually been issued by the president himself. Every day, if you go to Adi House or any Ministry of Land, whether it is at a county level or elsewhere, there are always queues of people who are coming to process their title deeds and other land documents every day. And there are quite many. So these are the people we are telling. You do not have to stay with if the idea was to construct your house in that particular parcel that you bought, which you have managed to buy. Now you do not have to wait forever until you get the entire capital together, which is a lot of money, or you go the mortgage way, which most of the time you do not even qualify. Because you see even the way the private sector is operating in this Nairobi and in Kenya is that most of the time now they are going the contract way. So you'd want to really go for a mortgage. But then when you go to the bank, they tell you they want to see your terms with whoever is your employer. So when you tell them, I'm here for 3 years, they tell you, I mean, you do not qualify for this.
Yeah.
So we are starting from the known and telling the people, if you have a piece of land, come. Let's agree, how much can you manage to do?
Hold it, and we'll speak about the planning, and the designing until it gets to that point where indeed someone with their own piece of land is able to enjoy or to own a home. So after this short break, we come back and unpack that some more.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
Well, do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers, as we know agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m.
With that land, how do you get a structure that is affordable? How do you make sure that you get a structure that is strong enough to hold for the next generations, for your children and children's children to actually get to possess this house? So here we are, and you want to sell this concept against the concepts that have existed before. And you can easily say that yes, you've gone to the lab, tried and tested, and you realize that this is way better than the already existing concepts. How do you sell this to the people? How will this be embraced? And how far have we done that in the country in terms of that embracing of the precast way of owning homes?
I will surprise you to tell you that the many people that we meet, they have a problem of time. Many people have got a problem of time, and this comes by you have so many things to do and you also need to do a home. So if you find a solution that you can still build your home as well as concentrating with other business that can help you in financing the construction way, then you find you at a better place. So basically what we do not only sell the product, we also advise. We also advise. So you come, you've got your piece of land. We advise first you get an architectural drawing. We get to know now this is the house you want to build. Now from there, we just pick it from there.
Okay.
We pick it from there, and I found it like in a month you can do your 3-bedroom unit and you're done.
Right.
So people find it easy, especially maybe you're getting a small loan somewhere and you're able to do your home in 30 days. You find it easy to go this way because what you are using for the rent, you just rake up in a period of time. So it's the way to go.
It is the way to go.
It's the way to go.
All right, Jimmy. And so what goes into the planning that I come to you? I say, yes, Jimmy, I have a piece of land somewhere and this amount of money that really could not be good enough or, enough to set up a structure that I would imagine. How do we go about it? How do we help this person plan? How do we help this person understand and get the right people to work with until that point where, they would confidently say that my structure is up, it's beautiful, it's quality, it's what I envisioned, but then it has not costed me so much time and money.
So what you do is we convert your title as the collateral security to assist you to be able now to acquire this facility. So the concept is purely what we call the rent to own.
Okay.
It comes in many fashions and versions, but now specifically on what you're asking, when I have my own land and you want to construct there. So number two is that immediately you convert your title to become the security, so that now these people are comfortable to even do what they are supposed to do. In other words, they'll do their due diligence. This leads Linda, so basically now we can be able to put a facility here for her, and she's comfortable to be doing this. I know of some people, for instance, a 2-bedroom, it comes to that 5,000 every month. That's what you'll be paying. A 3-bedroom comes to 48,000 at a cost of 3.7. He will tell you that a 3-bedroom around the metropolitan area to get it at 3.7, you'll be paying 48K every month, comfortable, and it's your own house within 6 years. A 4-bedroom, I think I've seen the age now is going to, and this is regulated. Now the NCA is there, so it's a regulated industry. At 55,000, you have a 4-bedroom, a mansion, and that goes at 4.9.
Okay.
In your own soil. In your own soil, you just convert that your title to become the collateral security to represent you for that particular period. And they will give you a perimeter wall. They'll give you a gate. They'll give you a complete house, a standard house. You can also come to them with your own design and tell them, how about if I came with my own design?
Okay.
And they will just value and tell you, this is the BQ, this is the cost, this is, so this is ledges within this. So you'll be paying exactly this amount of money. Are you comfortable? If you're not comfortable, then they go maybe to the next one. Because you can start somewhere. I mean, you might have wanted 4 bedroom, but because now of the cost modalities, you say, how about, 3? And you agree on that. And then within around, let's say 5-6 years, you have already owned that. What are you doing? You're only converting the money that you're paying from
rent.
Yes, you become your own landlord, and you are the tenant in your, at the same time, because you'll be facilitating that. Now, in terms of the simple documentation work that you need to do, you're only delivering your own title.
Okay.
And after that, if they are not they'll assist you to do every other approval. Let me tell you, in this country, to acquire approval, that's something else that challenges people. When you want to construct, he will tell you that to acquire approvals in this country is quite hectic.
Right.
There are like 14 certificates or licenses that you need, or 14 approvals that you need before you start constructing.
Okay.
And let me tell you, funny enough, many people, especially these days, I see them struggling with this most of the time. Because you even do not know these people who approve where they are in their offices, you even don't know all of them. The moment you will start constructing something is when they appear all of them. Ni kama wameitana. After this one, unasikia huyu amekuja. Unasikia huyu anakuambia, do you have occupational health certificate? Unauliza hao ni nani? Mnakuanga wapi? Unaona amekuandikia. There is the NCA, you see they have put a mark. Then you have the physical planner, you have the county, you have what? All that. So these are guys now who are solving all that problem for you.
And so you get them to probably, it's just the land that you give.
It's just the land that you have.
And then you step aside.
You step aside and tell them, as far as we have agreed, and this is the contract, and you say, I want a 3-bedroom, and this is how I want it to look like. You can choose a standard. By the way, funny enough, you know, houses don't really change a lot. What you call a 4-bedroom, whether here or elsewhere, what you find is that the kitchen is this side. This one, the kitchen is here. That one, the kitchen is there. A standard 4-bedroom, for instance, if somebody was to describe to you and he will tell you that he's in the construction industry, a 4-bedroom house ordinarily has 3-bedroom upper floor. It has maybe one of it is a master ensuite. The other ones are either sharing the bathrooms or they are independent, and there is a balcony. And then on the ground floor is where you find 1 bedroom. There is a family area or a living area and a dining area and a kitchen, whether an open kitchen, an American kitchen, or what have you. And then you have a foyer, that is the entrance area as you get to the main house. And then you have a veranda or a walking area, and it is roofed in a standard way. And then you have a perimeter wall and you have a gate. That is the standard 4-bedroom.
Yes.
And what you will find in Ruaka is what you find in Ruai, is what you find in Machakos. In what a 3-bedroom is the same. You'll find like there it's a bungalow. The 3 bedrooms are all of them on the ground floor. There is a sitting area, a living area, a kitchen, an open area, a foyer, and then you have a septic and just the most basic
It's
thing.
a basic, the basic things that you're used to.
So even when it comes to the design, you find the alterations are very few. Somebody just saying, bring the kitchen from that side to this side. My clock, I want it from this side to this side. You know, very, very few things. Or roofing design, you find you're just changing something small, maybe to fit the imagination of something that you have. But it's the same kind of a thing. But the idea is, you can see how simplified it is.
Yes.
You do not have to have the entire money or to go and speak to a bank somewhere to give you this amount of money, and also the process of approving you for the finance is a challenge.
So, does it mean that you just come on a ground where you have nothing, or there's some basic payments that you make for the process then to begin?
Of course, there'll be a small commitment fee. Yes. There'll be a small commitment fee because nobody will start constructing your house when you haven't done anything.
And so upon agreement, say it's a 4-bedroom house, how soon, you're giving timelines as to when the structure is up and done?
6 months, anything 4-bedroom and below. Right. 4-bedroom, 3 to 6 months. It can even be 5, but 6 months is the standard time that you can be able to have your own house. But there is even now another challenge, and most of the time this is never communicated, and it has actually been a hindrance to affordable housing in the country. And the issue is, when you want to we have already said the approvals is quite an issue.
Right.
That is already delaying people. To acquire finance is also an issue. Many people do not know, I do not qualify for that money that you're saying and what have you and all that. 3, while it's a concept that we have been embracing, when you go to gated community, because that's the other place you can find a rent-to-own kind of concept or affordable housing. When you go to a gated community, apartments and what have you and all that, you work in Nairobi. The ones that you qualify for are in Matu. So now the mathematics of how to be living here to go to Matu and come and all that becomes a challenge. Maybe the environment is not where you'd want. 2, maybe that's not also an area you can access some of the basic services like a school for your kid and what have you and all that. 3, it might not even be allocation of your preference. You don't like Remuru for some reason. It's code for you, it's not, but that's why you are finding the house. This one, the idea is, by the time you decided to buy your plot in Thika or in Nakuru, it's because you love the environment, it fits your convenience in many ways, and you decided this is where I would want, this is the region. That's why you, by the time you are buying that, you had already done all those arrangements and you realize this fits what I'm looking for, it's my preferred area. Now we are moving people from the limitations of you must stay in Kitengela when you don't want to stay in Kitengela. The house might be fitting your basic requirements and the cost and everything, but you are not happy with Kitengela, the area. You are not comfortable with Thika. You are not comfortable with Kiambu. You know, that other place. And you know now the challenge, and I'm sure you have seen this of late, especially with apartments and gated community, is because people like me are coming to stay where you are. Possibly I'm a bachelor, so my lifestyle doesn't really suit the kind of environment. You have kids in your area, you are not comfortable what I'm exposing them to, and you know you can't talk to me.
And speaking of that, let's loop in Sami so he's not left out for quite a long time. The population is growing, the demands are different, and you know, you are bringing a new concept that is pretty much unique. If we are to look at the question of the demands, just think about the basics: wiring, plumbing, you know, handling these particular setups. I mean, how is this done to make sure that while the structure is there, it is all set up, it's all set, and it becomes an easy way for people to maneuver and make sure that all the amenities that they would want and all the necessary aspects of comfort are met?
What we do is they come, when we manufacture them, we have those provisions ready.
Do you manufacture them here in the country?
Yeah, we manufacture.
Where are you located?
Exactly, we're in Ruaka, just 100 meters from the Two Rivers Mall towards Ruaka. So
material, you are considering the question of going green, because I mean we are at a point where the materials of constructions are a point of concern.
Actually, that's what I like most. When you do your construction, you find you've little wastage on site and no litter on the environment. So you're going simply green, and that's what we need to do. Actually, that is what we need to focus more. We give you a very good concept where you have no issues to your provisions, your conduits. We have already provisions for that. And those provisions also help for soundproofing for your structures. So we all factor, we factor in that.
Right. Yeah. And so you speak of the fact that you set up structures that are already fitted in with what? The conversations of wiring and plumbing and everything. When you come and set up this structure for someone and it is all up and you know, standing, so that means then you are the people who will look into all the necessary adjustments that need to be made until this is fully fitted as a structure that is good enough for use?
Yeah, actually that's why we said the primary step is you bring us your architectural drawing. We have to actualize it to the point at which it was drawn. So you get it as exactly as it is.
Are there instances where, I mean, you have felt like, well, this does not work, and therefore you'd advise the client otherwise?
I've never felt so, and because it's a well-thought procedure. So once you have all factors in consideration, you just bring in something that will just pick up and move. Yeah. Actually, the biggest problem that we always have is the ability to supply. So that is what we are always keeping to sort.
Because there are very many people, the demand is high.
The demand is high. The demand is very high. Because people, sincerely, he will tell you, doing construction with the method, ordinary
old method,
method,
yes.
it's very tedious, very tedious. So you find people are very, very willing to go this way because it's not tiresome and it's not involving, and it's also accountable.
Okay.
It's very accountable to the point.
All right. So when a client comes to you, Jimmy, and they say that, well, I think I like this concept and therefore I'd want a scenario where I will rent this to own. But this is the style that I want. I want to go precast. I want to take this angle because to me it appears affordable. Do you make the necessary adjustments to fit in to their demands?
Oh yes, because the big key is clear. So you can suggest instead of this, can we do this? Instead of this, because the BQ is calculated on actual costings of what exactly is going to be implemented on the crowd. So when you say on walling, we want to go the precast way, that reduces the amount.
Hold it, Jimmy. I'm told that they have to fix your microphone. Bit of a hitch there, but that should be sorted. And true to it, have you had arrangements where then you're working with entities of the nature that Jimmy speaks of, that this is a real estate company that is fashioned to make sure that people own houses in different forms and arrangements, or you only go it with individuals and based on what their demands are?
I will tell you that different clients have got different problems, and where he is not where someone else in life. So you factor in, you don't want to lose anyone in this work. So we have people who finance these options. So if you come to us and you've got a problem, maybe financing, all that, we have companies we partner with who can do that. Also, we've got now this option where you come, you don't have money, you don't also want to go the financing way. You can do your project step by step. We agree on that. Yeah, we have those provisions because we don't all have the same earnings.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I hope Jimmy's microphone is okay. So Jimmy, yes. And back to that very question, that you would give the client what it is that they have asked for. If they tell you I've gone somewhere around Rwaka and I have met these people that call themselves Kingdom Precast Solutions, and therefore I'd want for you to come in or come through for me, but focus much on dealing with precasts.
Yes, quite flexible. Because it's a matter of, just like we were saying, is more or less the same like even coming with your own design and saying, I want it to be done this way. There are people who really insist and say they want precast. There are people who insist and say we want workforce. There are people who insist and say we want this kind of roofing, maybe what we call the flat roofs. Whatever the case, the idea is at the end of the day, did you own a home?
Did you own a home?
And in a more affordable way.
Okay, then how then are the risks managed? Because you will agree with me that this comes along with so much of risks. And I mean, skepticism, like I said. It's not everybody who will be excited about the fact that, for the very first time, I am meeting Kingdom Precast Solutions. And, you understand the forms of business in the country. Tomorrow, probably they could close down. So how are these risks that are available mitigated to a point where one will be confident that yes, 6 years after, and she owns this home, she will remain true to the payments that are supposed to be done until that very time that this is closed in totality. And speaking of the payments, does it then mean that one can decide I need to offset this once and for all, and therefore we do the math and offset?
Yes. But let me start with the how to mitigate the risk. Number one, this is now a regulated sector.
Yes, you said
the
so.
National Construction Authority. Many people think they only regulate the buildings and all that. It's the entire, from the contractors to the suppliers to everybody else. Every player is regulated. Number two is that by the time that you are coming into any arrangement, there is a contract. And you read it clearly and to see whether are your interests well safeguarded within the document. Am I secure enough that what you are providing me is something that is durable? We are not going to come back here and say, what did you do to me? And those kind of things. Number three, yes, the affordable housing element is a way of trying to make it easier for you to own the home. So there is also the approach of that I'm not able to get my money either once or I'm not able to get my money on monthly basis. I'm actually able to get my money, because people deal with different kind of businesses, and so their incomes could be very diversified and different as well. you'll find mimi napatanga pesa once. You know, like I will go get a deal and get this amount of money and can settle and all that. That is also agreeable. So you can find, you can see the money that I have now is an equivalent of what I would have paid as my installment for the next 6 months.
Okay.
So you pay for your next 6 months. Then by the time you are getting another deal like that one, especially people who deal with tenderpreneurship a lot, you find their money is not that very regular. Is as and when he is paid and supply is a one-time thing. So by the next time he is getting some other money, he is able to pay for another 9 months. So even if he stays like that, then the person who is doing this for you, they are already comfortable. Remember here, they are not asking you, show us your pay slip, show us how you get your money from your milk, show us your husband, what does he do, show us your wife. No, you know, those are the things that have been complicating this, and eventually you realize we are bringing a lot of crisis in some of these cities because, you know, tenancy is a problem, these things are becoming an issue, yet you already have a caprot somewhere. That is where you have always wanted to settle. We are trying now to remove all the blocks that have been there on the way and make it easier, including your way of how do you get your money. At the end of the day, you just want to have your own house. The challenge is I'm not able to raise 4 million at once. Right. But if you told me to be getting 200, 300K, these are the kind of monies that I deal with once in a while. So 300 is the equivalent of 6 months that I would have paid for my 3-bedroom. Okay. Pay for that. All right. You know, if it is then for him and you wanted, for instance, to do it for yourself, like you're asking, there are contracts and you agree. He will tell you for sure some of the contracts are binding in a way that they can even supply you and you pay sometimes later as far as you have committed a little bit of deposit to enable them and to show them that at least there is goodwill, you really want to do this.
Well, that's amazing. Gentlemen, you know, time moves very fast, but I think these are nice arrangements that perhaps the people who are watching this morning should get to understand and buy into. Once again, how do we get a hold of you, and why would you suppose, as you speak to them, it would be important to go the precast way?
What I would say is it's very important. Exactly, I'll give you a scenario where I have a project. It's simply in Takana, and the project is behind time. The guys are doing a number, thousands of classrooms, and they really need to be done as soon as possible. So we're supplying them in the shortest time possible. Okay. So in a very short duration of time, the schools will be there, the laboratories will be there. So this is the way to go. It is sorting you as fast as possible and also as affordable as possible. Yeah, that sorts you a lot of time.
How do they get a hold of you?
Now, we are in Rwaka, just 100 meters from the Two Rivers Mall. You see Recon Supplies. It's
from what side? When you talk about that, is it from the Limuru Road side or from the Northern Bypass?
From the Northern Bypass. Okay. Just after the Rwaka roundabout, you see Recon Supplies. We're just behind Recon Supplies. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yes, Jimmy. Why is it important for people to take this direction?
Because it is affordable, it is easy, it accommodates everybody. It is not discriminative. It's not looking for people who have a pay slip. It's not looking for people with big money. It's not looking for people with all the resources. It just wants you to have your own title, or you have a consent to build somewhere. By the way, this is going to be very easy for people who can access a plot from somebody, a title from somebody. Because as far as there is a consent, niliambiwa nijenge hapa. As far as there is that concept, you can be able to get that. But like you correctly mentioned, we might not be able to exhaust about affordable housing today. And as consultants, we can give our numbers for people who want to reach out to that. You can call us on 0729 506 506, 0729 506 506 is a simple number, 0729 506 506. Or you can also WhatsApp us on 0729 509 509. You see, even the numbers are easy as we are making the affordable housing. Right. 509 509 or 506 506. whether you want to consult on how to get into rent to own concept.
You know, Jimmy, I would have said if the deal is too good, think twice. But because I know him, worry not. Worry not. In the event that it backfires on you, we know where to find him. Yes. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to us. Jimmy Kagoni as well as Sami Wambua. We close this. It's a conversation that goes on, and therefore I hope to hold or get a hold of you some other time so that we can expound it further.